Giaffoni's going to try Castroneves. Castroneves doesn't move on the start. Being careful. 2 to go. Giaffoni tries to swing way wide and pick up second. 1 to go. Tony Kanaan, if he can hang on this lap, looking to be the 30th different driver. Another new winner in the IRL. 30th different to win in the history. Tony Kanaan driving for Andretti Green is the winner.
And they're trying Bryan Herta to go nice and easy as he goes by the front straightaway with 3 to go. Oh, less than that. We're down to the end of this baby.
He was
white flag.
8 miles an hour slower on the last lap than second place Castroneves.
Finish line. I just need to get around him.
He may be able to do it. He may be able to do it. He can do it. Bryan Herta. Michael Andretti's team splits the team, plays the gamble, and Bryan Herta takes his first win in the Indy Racing League.
Now watch this right here. Turns 3 and 4 were just coming through. That's where Dixon seems to work a little bit better.
2 to go. 2 laps to go.
Oh, Dixon is there. He's closing. What's he got planned as the end game?
Didn't we see this at Homestead with different drivers?
Yeah, but I'm not so sure you can do that here. Watch him prove me different.
Last lap pass by by Sam Hornish on Castroneves.
White flag is out.
White flag.
Just under a mile, about 3/4 of a mile now for Tony Kanaan. Dixon can pedal hard, but he's not going to catch him. Tony Kanaan, final 2 turns in front of him. Looking for his second IRL win and back-to-back wins at Phoenix. He loved this track. It loves him. Tony Kanaan takes the win. Dixon second. And Honda looking for back-to-back wins for the first time in the Indy Racing League. Just 1.5 miles to go for Dan Wheldon. 22nd time in the history of the league, if he can just make it around this last lap, that a driver has won from the pole. Last guy to do it was DeFerrin at Texas just last year in the final race of his career. Dan Wheldon. They don't come any more likable, and now he's notched his first victory. On Franchitti. The move will have to come heading into 3. About 40 feet separate those 2 cars. Franchitti decides to pull a little high. Is he trying to aggravate any conditions on Kanaan's car? He's setting himself for the finish now. Tony Kanaan makes that final turn, heads for the finish line. Franchitti doesn't have the power to get there. Green and white flag come out at the same time. Castroneves closes up on Mira. Mira tries the low line.
Mira played it smart, tried to make him go around the high side, but he's carrying the speed.
The yellow light was still flashing as they came through turn 1. Now they have it off. Wheldon holds on. Castroneves around Mira. And Dan Wheldon takes the win. Second of the season. 4th win for Andretti Green Racing.
Good on you, Dan. Way to help me. 1 to go. Bring it on, Mike.
1 to go now. Tony Kanaan. If Hornish is going to make a move, it will have to be at the end of this long backstretch.
Watch for him to slice underneath, and
he moves to the high side, drops back in. Now Hornish going to try down to the inside.
What some blocking going on by Tony Kanaan.
And Tony Kanaan keeps him back, finishes ahead of Hornish, Castroneves, and Manning. Across the line again, it's still Dario.
Rice just a little faster that last time around, about 0.3 of a mile an hour, but Guys, the time is starting to run out right now. You got to be within smelling distance if you're going to take a shot at it. And right now, Rice does not look like he's got the legs to do it.
And the interval remains about the same last time around. White flag for the final mile comes out. Dario Franchitti acknowledges Rice is stuck at about 0.6 of a second back. Coming off of 2, he tries to close. Franchitti leads him into 3. Final 2 corners for Franchitti. Rice can't get closed down on Franchitti. Dario Franchitti is looking at a checkered flag, and Andretti Green Racing has done it again. Dario Franchitti has won at Milwaukee. That he will catch traffic before the end of the race, but it should not impact him in any way. Franchitti solidly out in front. Now being chased by a 3-car battle for second place. Fernandez, Wheldon, and Manning. Reinhardt, the starter, has white flag. 1 mile to go for Franchitti. But look at the fight for second as it tightens up coming to the line. Wheldon thinks he has a chance here, and he just may have it. Franchitti on the backstretch. He hammers it into turn 3. No traffic in front of him. Wheldon is not going to have the chance either. Franchitti comes to the line and takes the win, his second of his IRL career.
Got the lead on a pit stop.
Paid off big
Led
time.
since lap 147.
Yeah, I think he can give his crew a pat on the back. They probably won this race for him by getting him out ahead of Kanaan on that last pit stop.
It's the second time this season at Richmond he was not all that competitive, but he won it, got the lead on a pit stop, and then won the race as the white flag is displayed. 1 lap to go. The final lap of competition at this racetrack as Nazareth will close at the conclusion of this event this afternoon. And Danny Wheldon is about to pick up his 3rd victory of the year to match that win column of Rice and his teammate Kanaan. So Wheldon picks up the win here.
White flag is out. Dan Wheldon is on the final lap of the Toyota Indy 300, and Tony Kanaan continues to keep them at bay as his teammate runs out in front. As we look to 2004, Dan Wheldon did this plenty of times for him, but it is Dan Wheldon who is coming around as he enters turn 3, coming out of turn number 4. This will be Dan Wheldon's 4th career win, and Sam Horn is trying to get it right. Your winner, Dan Wheldon.
Herta's run 36 already, so he's going to have less fuel than anybody else. So maybe that's the reason he's slowed down a little bit.
Well, final lap.
Well, Michael knows right now.
It's going to take a mistake on Wheldon's part. It's Wheldon's race to lose.
Kanaan actually made a mistake there about a lap ago as he was trying so hard to get around Wheldon to catch him. He got a little bit sideways back there in the back part of the course and cost himself 3 or 4 car lengths. So now he has no opportunity to win this race unless Wheldon makes a huge error.
Well, Wheldon began the season with a victory at Homestead. Comes back to Florida, to St. Petersburg, and is on his way to a victory here and a clean sweep for Andretti Green. As that last lap, Herta had about 0.7 of a second lead over Mira. So catching a driver is one thing, passing is something else. And again, he may be conserving some fuel, as you seem to indicate, as he comes onto the runway the last time. And there is the checkered flag, and Wheldon takes the victory.
As the white flag comes out, and a familiar face in a familiar place, Dan Wheldon, who won here last year, and a yellow flag comes out, and Dan Wheldon, and there's a car in the wall on 2, and is that Elio Castroneves or Sam Hornish Jr.? It is Elio Castroneves.
Very rare for him to have a crash. We'll have to find out what's going on, but you know something, this plays into Danny Wheldon right now. Race pace is slowed. We saw Vitor Mira going underneath him in turns 1 and 2. Remember, Vitor Mira is way behind because of being inside the pit box for such a long time. Checkered flag.
Checkered flag is out. Your winner, Dan Wheldon. He picks up the victory once again in Japan. He rolls the dice, and it comes up Yahtzee.
All right, don't let him by. You stay right there. Don't let him by.
precious ounces of fuel in that car for Danica Patrick as she has slid back now to 4th place. Her shot may be over, but her story will certainly be told from days to come for what a tremendous performance by Danica Patrick as we check in with Dr. Jerry Punch.
Guys, 2 words down here: fuel pressure. Fuel pressure, and they're watching it. They're not sure if she can make it, but they're crossing their fingers, and those are the 2 words everybody is saying: fuel pressure.
And that fuel pressure comes from, there we go.
Turn 3, crash turn 3.
Well, I think we might know the outcome of this one right now. There goes the white and the yellow at the same time. And Danny Wheldon, don't want to say who I picked there, Todd.
I know. Dan Wheldon has just won the Indianapolis 500.
You little pisser. That's the boy. And there's Bryan outside you.
Not since Graham Hill in 1966 has an Englishman tasted the milk in victory lane at Indy. White flag out. Who will win at Kansas?
Look at this grandstand. Everybody standing up and not an inch given. Wheldon trying to push Kanaan up. Kanaan trying to push Wheldon down. And the guy that's going to play a role in this is probably Vitor Meira. Who will he side on to sort of help slipstream?
As they come out of turn number 4, it's Dan Wheldon on the inside. Tony Kanaan, his teammate. Vitor Meira tries to slip to the low side. Can he get it done? No! It's Tony Kanaan. With 1 lap to go, it's Dario Franchitti and Sam Hornish Jr. Sam Hornish was 2nd last year, and it looks like he is going to turn the trick again. But the Gibson guitar may stay in the Andretti green camp. This time going over to the Flying Scotsman. Dario Franchitti brings it down, sees the checkered flag. Your winner in Nashville, Dario Franchitti. Once again, Thomas Scheckter on the low side in the yellow car, trying to make a move, trying to find a spot. As they come to the line, the white flag is out. We've got 1 lap to go at Michigan.
And 1 lap left to go, Todd, and I just looked out our window. There is not a soul sitting in their seat right now. They're all standing up along the front stretch here. Just can't believe what they see.
Out of turn number 2, Bryan Herta is your leader. Dan Wheldon sits in 2nd. The quarters get even tighter. They've got 2 more turns to make something happen. They make the turn out of turn 4 as they come to the line. The checkered flag is out. At the line, Bryan Herta. Bryan Herta gets his first win of the season. Be careful, folks. When Sam Hornish Jr. and Dan Wheldon get together, there are fireworks. But Dan Wheldon, I don't know if he was playing possum, qualified 11th, and look at him now.
Wasn't a very happy man yesterday. Sometimes the car is fast when you take it off the truck. Sometimes it's not, but the key thing for Andretti Green Racing is that they have 4 drivers on the racetrack. So Danny Wheldon has 3 other drivers to actually gain information from.
White flag is out. Number 26, Dan Wheldon, out in front. He's got to bring this thing home. The 27-year-old from Emberton, England, looking for his 5th IndyCar win of the season. It is Wheldon to the line. Let the celebrations begin in the UK.
Local yellow, turn 1, driver's right. Should be okay. Just be a little careful through there.
White flag is out for Tony Kanaan. 1 lap left at the inaugural running of the Argent Mortgage Indy Grand Prix. And look at this replay quickly. Riding on board with Giorgio Pantano. He's got to make sure that thing's in gear. It doesn't roll back down the hill. And look at this.
He got blindsided by the left-hand side right in there. You'll see Vitor Meira coming on the inside, just punts him off to the right. And as the car was sitting stationary, you saw a big wheel donut on the side of Pantano's car. Compliments of Vitor Meira.
Great officiating by the IndyCar stewards, giving it a local yellow. I'm sure Buddy Rice would have loved to have seen a full course yellow, would have bunched him up and given him something on the restart. That's not going to happen. It is Tony Kanaan bringing this car around. He has been flawless. He has been everywhere. For Kanaan, a man who started 3rd, he has worked his way up to 11th, and he is now bringing it home. Just 3 more turns for Tony Kanaan, and the victory will be his. Well, the folks at Andretti Green can go ahead and uncork a fine bottle of 2005 Tony Kanaan, your winner at Infineon. The Toyotas of Penske decide to go high. Wheldon keeps the low line, and here comes Tony Kanaan on the inside.
Smart team movement by Team Penske right now. They're going around the high side the longer way. Will the drafting work and overpower the Honda power that's on the low line? We'll have to see.
Chicago breeds close finishes, and they are going to make it yet another one. It's Wheldon on the inside. Castroneves on the outside. Somebody wake the queen, because Dan Wheldon just walked away with the checkered flag.
Now his foot is not off that gas pedal whatsoever.
The white flag is out. Excuse me, Scott. The white flag is out. The final lap of the 2005 season is underway. Dario Franchitti, can he hold off his teammate Tony Kanaan? And the emotion just too great for Ashley Judd. Kanaan will try to go to the outside. Franchitti holding the inside line. As they come out of turn number 4, Tony Kanaan makes a run at the line. It is Dario Franchitti.
This time by, it'll be the white flag. It's out for Tony Kanaan. 1 mile to go. The last 2 years that they've run this race here, Tony has finished in 4th place both times. Right now, it looks like he is going to finish 3 places better, pick up his first win since Sonoma last year through turns 3 and 4. Here comes career win number 7 for Tony Kanaan at Milwaukee.
What a great drive, great pit stops, great fuel life. Well done, boys.
The only question will be, does he have enough fuel? Marco Andretti at age 19, 2.3 miles away from his first career win in the IndyCar Series.
He needs about 9/10 of a gallon to make it. These cars are running about 1 gallon per lap. He's awful close to making it. It's going to come right down to the fuel. He's got a big lead here. He's just got to drive smooth.
Guys, while this has been going on, Scott Dixon, Vitor Mira got around Castroneves. Mira's up to 3rd. Dixon's up to 4th. Castroneves has been moved back to 5th. Wheldon is 6th. The championship chase is getting tighter. And Tony Kanaan peels off and is in pit lane. So Kanaan needed the fuel. He did not have enough. Does Marco? He's at the farthest end of the racetrack.
It's downhill from here. He's running down the hill. It's going to help him a little bit.
Okay, you got plenty of fuel to make it. You got plenty of fuel. You're good.
You heard Kyle Moyer. He says you've got it.
I still say I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
He's not put a wheel wrong all day. I'm sure he won't for the next few turns, but can you imagine the emotions that's going on inside his helmet right now?
Remember at Indianapolis, it was a last lap pass on the front straightaway where Sam Hornish snatched victory from Marco Andretti. It won't happen this time. The 19-year-old is going to win at Infineon.
Okay, great job, Ken. Great job.
That was big. That was a big win.
Tony Kanaan and Dan Wheldon, and Wheldon has cut it down to just 0.3 of a second. That's Wheldon right behind him. Does he have anything to get around Kanaan? Kanaan finished 2nd here in 2004. He was 3rd last year. Is he going to win it? Wheldon is closing quickly. They're through 3 out of 4. Down the stretch, it's going to be Tony Kanaan taking the win for Andretti Green Racing. Wow, look at the action in the back of the field. Franchitti is trying to check out. Meanwhile, Team Penske's trying to eat up some turf. That was Helio Castroneves,
who has one fast race car right now. For a driver to do that, boy, is he ever confident of the ability of his car.
Goes around the slower traffic of Sarah Fisher. Jack, what's going on?
Well,
oh, no, another crash, and it's upside down. We've got a car upside down. It's Marco Andretti. 2 cars at least involved in this. Buddy Rice as well. Buddy was taken out last year in a crash with Helio. This year, a crash with Marco.
Boy, he's going so slow. Scott, this thing is not over yet. I mean, look how hard it's raining.
Are we going to get the white flag, the checkered flag? Are we going to end this thing right now? Up on the starter stand, it is Bryan Howard. And as we mentioned, The only Scotsman to win Indy was Jimmy Clark in 1965. That is until today. Tune up the bagpipes. Dario Franchitti will win at Indianapolis.
And Marty, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. He's been a gentleman racer, just like his wife Ashley Judge said. This guy's got to be loving it. Great for Andretti Green.
3 laps to go, and the lead is down to 2.7 seconds. There is your man of the hour, though, Tony Kanaan. It could be. Remember, he won back at Motegi. If he wins here, it will be his 2nd win this season. And if you remember, his 2nd consecutive win here at Milwaukee. Here comes the white flag. 1 lap to go for Tony Kanaan here at the Milwaukee Mile. It'll be the 26th series win for Andretti Green Racing. That's the most of the teams. Team Penske is 2nd with 24. Here comes Tony through turns 3 and 4. He'll take the checkered flag for his 9th win of the year. Let's listen in. Marco, the 20-year-old, just can't get enough speed. This time by, it'll be 2 laps to go.
2 laps to go. Carpenter down low. Carpenter low.
And guys, Ed Carpenter is out of fuel.
Oh, so a tough break for Ed Carpenter. He had a career best run in his hip pocket, but just a few laps short. Not short for Dario Franchitti. He's got one more lap.
White flag, bud.
Less than a mile down the backstretch. If Marco has anything, he's going to have to do it on the high side because Dario's not giving up the low line.
Got a wing. Just a wing.
Coming out of 4. His win at Indy is backed up with a win at the inaugural running at Iowa. 2 to go here at Richmond. Dario Franchitti's lead is over half a second. Down the backstretch, Dixon and Wheldon can only watch in awe and amazement as here he comes for the white flag. 1 to go for Dario Franchitti and a smiling Ashley Judd. This one, when he crosses the line, will be his 3rd win of the season, the first time he's won more than 2 races in a single season. Here he comes out of 4, your race winner, Dario Franchitti. White flag, 1 lap to go at Michigan. A day that started, well, 7 hours and 40 minutes ago is finally going to come to conclusion. Who's going to win it? Will it be the 32-year-old Tony Kanaan from Brazil, or will it be the 20-year-old from Nazareth, Pennsylvania, Marco Andretti? Down the backstretch, they're wheel to wheel, going into 3. Here comes Kanaan, just like before, able to close the door and take it through 4. Coming to the stretch, it will be Tony Kanaan in front with his 3rd win this season and 10th of his career, and Marco Andretti right behind. Here comes the white flag for Tony Kanaan. He said at the beginning of the broadcast, I've got to go win. He knew he had to lead the most laps. He's done both of those. He's got to traverse this 1.5 mile oval one more time. Scott Dixon is going to close ground on our points leader, Dario Franchitti, as they come down the backstretch and through turns 3 and 4. Tony Kanaan, it'll be his 4th win this year, the first to 4, and his 11th.
Nice job, TK. Nice job. Good job, guys. Nice job. Hey, Brooks. Happy birthday, brother. Happy birthday.
Minute 15, we can go 2 more circuits. So now Buddy's team has got to really hope that they can hold on.
Saw Dario Franchitti get a little aggressive in the back section. Looks like he was having an opportunity to look around the 9 machine of Scott Dixon. So let's see if he's going to try to do anything here.
There's Buddy. You can see he's sort of fall back, and we're hearing from race control. They're telling the 9 car to maintain a straight line. So there you see he looks a little to the outside, although I don't see Franchitti.
Whoa, and Buddy Rice can just feel that Scott Dixon was coming through on the inside, because Dixon now is starting to be more aggressive, Marty, because he knows he's getting pressure from Franchitti. It looked like everybody was willing just to sort of sit where they were and collect points, but we're going to come up to the white flag, and you see Franchitti just pushing the foot on the throttle, trying to get it done.
no, and Dixon's going to look under, and Rice goes into the barrier, and then Dixon spins, and Franchitti gets swept up in it.
Okay, I'm not sure if he's seeing the same race we're seeing. I got to be honest here. I mean, the contact was with Buddy Rice.
Coming to the white flag. 1 lap to go, this time by. The championship at stake. Who's going to get it? Will it be Scott Dixon from New Zealand or this year's Indy 500 winner, Dario Franchitti from Scotland? Down the backstretch for the final time. Dixon in control. Into 3. If Dario has anything, he's going up, and Dixon's out of fuel. Dixon is out of fuel. Dario Franchitti's going to win the race and the championship. Here she comes, the white flag this time by, and nobody within sight. Look at Mom Bev. 1.5 miles to go for Danica Patrick and the Motorola team. Could history be made at Twin Ring Motegi? Down the backstretch for one more time. Does she have enough fuel to get around the final 2 corners? Into turns 3 and 4. Danica Patrick coming out of 4, and boys, move over. The lady is coming through. Danica Patrick wins at Twin Ring Motegi.
8 points to Castro Neves, with Castro Neves staying in second right now. So we mentioned that Dixon does not lead a lap, and he's still going to lead the championship with a 40-point margin. Is still a pretty hefty one, especially going into Watkins Glen, which I think he likes.
Yeah, he's won there like, what, 2 times in a row. White flag is out. 1 more lap for Tony Kanaan. It will be his first win of 2008 as he completes this 1 more lap of this 3/4 mile bull ring at Richmond International Raceway. It'll be the 2nd win for Andretti Green Racing this year. And here he comes around to take the checkered flag for the 13th time in his career. Tony Kanaan.